Guys, in this video I'm going to continue with exceptions. In the previous video we talked about how to override a method in the base class or parent class or superclass that throws an exception. And in this video we want to talk about how to catch both checked and unchecked exceptions, and we will see the differences between those two. It's going to be a very short video. All right, let's get cracking. I'm gonna have this code, and then I'm gonna have a try block here to check, and then I'm gonna have this code. So if I was to ask you guys, if I compile this code, will this code compile or not? You are probably gonna say yes, it's going to compile, or maybe you're gonna say you're not sure whether it compiles or not. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this code will definitely compile. So there you go, it does compile. I can change here and put RuntimeException. The same thing will happen, it does compile. I can put IO exception. I can tell you that this code won't compile. As you can see, this code does not compile. So this is what you should know about throwing or catching checked exceptions versus unchecked exception. If your catch block catches any exception that is checked and it's a subclass of exception class, the compiler requires you to have code that can possibly throw that exception. So if I was to say throw IO exception, throw new IO exception, now this code is going to compile. Why? Because my code throws that exception that is being caught here. So, or I can I can throw any subclass of this exception. So basically I can say file not found exception. This code will work. Why? Because file not found is a subclass of IO exception. Any subclass we have, I think it's end of file, I think something like this. I don't remember. Let's see. End of file exception. Okay, yeah. So it's also a subclass of IO exception. But you cannot do this. You cannot have catch this exception here and then throw this exception. This will not compile. So why? Because this exception was never caught. So what you can do here in this case, you can actually have to put exception class here or the same IO exception. So that is what you have to know about, guys, when you catch exception. This is ironical because exception class is also checked. So one would have expected it to at least require code that throws an exception. But again, if exception does not necessarily mean checked exception, because we under exception we have runtime exceptions, we have IO exceptions, and many others. So maybe that's why we are having this issue that we are having in here. But we know that exception class is actually checked. We can prove that. So let's say we have a method public static void. Let's just say print. And then we have throws exception. Let's call print in here so that we can see that this code won't compile, because this exception was this method that is called throws a checked exception, and therefore this exception must be caught, or main method must also declare that it throws the same exception. Only then when we run this code will it compile. But when it's in the try block, we are not expected to throw a code to have a okay, when we come back here, we are not expected to have code in the try block that throws an exception. So if we run this code, it runs. So yeah, this is it, guys, what I wanted to talk to you about. I hope you enjoy this video. For those of you that are preparing for your OCA, this is some of the things that they check in the exam that you must be aware of. So guys, thank you, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.